So we are going to get into the last part of the morning session with 3 communications. We need to be extremely tight with the timing. I know that you are aware, but 10:15, and we are going to start, hoping that the computer will work. I will try to make a sign when we are around 9 minutes. Okay?
Thank you. Dear colleagues, I'm a resident in dermatology. I'm also a student in Professor Mordon unit in Lille. And we are glad to present you a study taking place in the Department of Dermatology, evaluating the efficacy and tolerance of a new light diffuser in actinic keratosis treatment. So actinic keratosis are premalignant skin lesions caused by sun damage. As you can see here, it looks like a scaly erythematous plaque, and most of the time these lesions are multiple, and the skin between the lesion, who looks healthy, is actually the subject of cytological anomalies. This leads to the concept of field actinic damage. Actinic keratosis is a very common condition in the elderly population, and the whole field had the risk to develop into invasive squamous cell carcinoma that leads to the consensus to treat AKs. PDT tends to be the first-line treatment in field actinic damages, and in France, we use a precursor of PP9, the methylaminolevulinate, in the Galderma cream, Medvixia. Medvixia obtained marketing authorization using red light, and here you can see the Actilight device, which is the most commonly used in France and Europe also. So how does it work for a conventional treatment? The first step is always a skin preparation. It's an important step. We have to remove the crust by a soft curettage, and then you apply the cream over the lesions and let it in incubation for 3 hours under an occlusive and light-proof dressing. After 3 hours of incubation, you can start the illumination. So we've seen that PDT is a very good treatment for field actinic damages because of its high response rate and the excellent cosmetic results. There is still some improvement to perform because, as you know, pain is a major side effect in PDT, and sometimes it leads to interrupt the treatment, so we don't have the whole treatment done. So we need to work on PDT to know how to reduce the pain, to improve the homogeneity of light, and maybe it's time to develop devices adaptable to the complexity of the human anatomy. A light-emitting fabric has been designed. I won't be long on the subject because you have a presentation in a few minutes, but basically the light-emitting fabric is made of optical fiber knitted together, and we connect the light-emitting fabric to a red light source, as you can see here, and we name this big device FlexiTerralight. This device allows, is flexible, the leaf is flexible, and you can have a light uniform, homogeneous all over the textile, and so all over the lesions. And we perform a treatment at low irradiance to improve the tolerance. Here are some references if you want to read about the textile. So back to the study now. The primary objective was to evaluate the efficacy of the device compared to the conventional device for actinic keratosis of the scalp and forehead at 3 months and actually until 6 months. And of course, we evaluate the tolerance during the treatment itself and 1 week after. As you can see here, inclusion and exclusion criteria were the usual one for that kind of study. How does it work? So the first step is the skin preparation, and then we draw an axis of symmetry over the scalp, so each patient is its own control. We perform the randomization. One side will be treated with the Actylite device and the other side with the Flexiteralite device. We apply the precursor all over the lesion. After 30 minutes of incubation, we apply on the Flexiteralite side the Flexiteralite device to treat for 2 hours 30 minutes to get the total light dose. After 3 hours of incubation, after the treatment of Flexiteralite, it's the end of 3 hours of incubation on the Actylite side. So we remove the Flexiteralite device and perform the conventional treatment on the corresponding area. Each area is, during treatment, protected with a light-proof and occlusive dressing. So the study is finished now. The results are under monitoring. It shows a very good tolerance with low pain scale, similar to Delight PDT. You can see here 2 patients of the study. The first one had a very long history of actinic keratosis, many treatments tried, and as you can see here, the result at 6 months show really cleaning of the lesions. The second patient you can see here is a young patient, and as you can see, he had a very strong pain with Actylite treatment, and he was really happy to have a good remission 6 months after treatment. So the Flexiteralite device performs a treatment after 30 minutes of incubation at low irradiance and seems to show similar efficacy, but with a better tolerance to treat actinic keratosis. So now it's maybe time to look for the future, and the Flexiteralite study is over, and we are not working on the Phocistos study, which is ongoing. A miniaturized system has been developed, as you can see here, and the goal of this study is really to spread the use of PDT in dermatology to allow maybe one day ambulatory treatment with a very good tolerance, and it could be an alternative to Delight PDT. I won't say no more about Phocistos study because you have a presentation tomorrow with my colleague Elise Tekua. So I would like to thank the partners of this work, and thank you very much for your attention.
So, well done. You have 2 minutes 46 seconds left.
I'm sorry, I just forgot during the presentation, but here is a small device. If you want to have a look on the fabric, you have another demonstration later also.
There is one question there.
What is the cost? The cost, how much it costs?
Today the cost is not really known because we have to know how we will produce it, and the cost will depend on the production.
So just a quick question. I noticed that the treatment time, obviously the fluence rate for your flexible was much lower than the Actylite. Have you looked at the studies that came from Roswell when we did a 2-level PDT to reduce the pain, starting with 35 or 20 milliwatt per centimeter square until we photo bleach and then increase it to 70 milliwatt per centimeter square. And this way we're basically able to almost limit the pain. So I'm just wondering if you're familiar with these studies. That can also explain why your light device is associated with less pain
Yeah, we work at very low irradiance. We don't use this kind of parameters in the study. We wanted to stick with the marketing authorization of the product in the first step, if it answers your question.
Please, the last question, the very last and very short, please.
All right, I'll try to keep it really short. With treating AKs, obviously, is very important, but a lot of these people also have basal cells and squames. Tom Mang and Ron Allison showed years ago you could treat squames effectively in the skin. You just had to turn the fluence up a lot with Photofrin. With ALA or Metvix, it's difficult with the pain. I guess my question is, can you either do longer fluence or turn the fluence rate up enough to keep your pain free and maybe also be able to treat squames and basals with this technique as well?
I think with topical PDT it may be difficult because of the penetration. I think we'll be limited in this case. And in France we are quite frightened because we just treat superficial basal carcinoma, thank you, and not nodular, whereas in other countries in Europe do that kind of lesion. So I think we are not there yet.
We need to get to the following
Thank you.
paper, please.